Well, I'll tell you what, there is nothing like a game week into a new regular season here in Tallahassee at Florida State University. And we are here tonight live from Bowditch in College Town for our first edition of Inside Seminole Football with the head coach Mike Norvell. It is a packed house tonight here this evening. How we doing, Noles fans? We ready? The 2025 college football season is upon us, and we're starting off a little bit differently to begin the show here this evening, taking things to another level. When you think of Florida State football, you think of the world-famous, iconic Marching Chiefs. And we thought no better way to play the head coach Mike Norvell into the show. Kai, are you ready? Let's get this fight song going here tonight. Sing it with them, everybody. Oh, baby, there's nothing better. Give it up for the Marching Chiefs. Getting us going. And let's give it up for your head football coach, Mike Norvell, everybody. All right, Coach. Let's go.
That definitely sets a new standard to the start of tonight's show, and excited for this season. It's been a long off season. A lot of movement, a lot of work that's poured into to this team, and game week is here, and you feel the energy, you feel the excitement. Just the mindset and the approach of our players, coaches, everybody on campus. Doak Campbell Stadium, with a new look, and obviously, a sold-out crowd coming this Saturday. So just it's an exciting time to be a Florida State Seminole.
We're talking about your football team, but I do want you to make mention of the Marching Chiefs. I know you have a lot of respect for Dr. David Plack, Devin Moore. You spoke with him just a couple of days ago. You see their hard work. You're a big fan of the hard work and sacrifice all across the board.
No, I mean it is it's such a special group, and for all the Marching Chiefs, present, past, I mean it's a special fraternity that you get to see that just the way that they work and the investment, the time. I was talking to David earlier, and they're going through 3-a-day practices right now, early in the morning, late at night. They had a 3-hour practice tonight. I went and spoke with them, and to see the care, the relationships, obviously all the work to put together, what is the greatest band in all of college football. It is definitely a group that deserves to be celebrated, and just honored for the opportunity to be able to share with them, and can't wait to hear them Saturday afternoon.
Absolutely. Well, you just wrapped up fall camp here this past weekend, and your team now turns their focus here to game week. Just walk us through that fall camp period. You're welcoming in 49 newcomers, the coaching staff, obviously. And the staff's been together since December and January overall. But as you closed camp, reflect for us on the work and what you appreciated.
Well, a lot of those newcomers have been in since January, so you've been able to see those relationships, really kind of forged together, and we were able to add some new faces, whether it's some high school seniors that graduated, came in this summer, had a couple of transfers that joined us as well in the summer workouts, but this team is really taking great ownership in who they are and building that identity. As we talked about, from the very beginning, you get one shot at 2025, and this team, their actions, everybody's going to talk this time of year. Everybody's going to have a good message, and it's all going to sound great. But it's the actions that get put on display. It's the actions of being able to establish what your legacy is going to be and how this group will be remembered. And what I've appreciated up to this point is just the investment, and it's a very competitive group. We challenge them every day to go out there, and I want them to fight to win. I want them, regardless of the circumstance they find themselves in, up, down, good day, bad day, rain, sunshine, whatever it is, go fight to win. And they've brought that edge on a daily basis, and to see them come together through that work is something that I'm excited about, and really looking forward to seeing them compete here Saturday afternoon.
Appropriate during this portion, our truest hero of the game. Well, we haven't played yet. We're going to call him, I guess, our hero of fall camp. He broke the rock at the end of fall camp. That's an annual anniversary, if you will. Quarterback Tommy Castellanos, and our truest hero of the game, brought to you by Truist. When you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable. So start feeling like it today. Visit Truist.com/care. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC. Tommy breaks the rock, and I know you've appreciated just his overall investment and how he's embraced the opportunity of being the quarterback at Florida State. How has he grown, Coach, the last month or so?
Well, I mean, you talk about earning it through action, and he broke the rock because of his actions, and it wasn't any speech that he gave. It was just the way that he showed up. From the first day he got on campus, pouring into his teammates, his growth, even as a player, coming in, being able to learn a system, being able to put everything he has into his daily actions, and he's a guy that's, when he steps on the field, you see 10 guys around him that go when they play better, and you want that from that position. Even the challenge going offense versus defense, the way that he's challenged the defense, the way that the defense has challenged him, there's been a great respect that has been earned throughout the course of the last 9 months as guys have really helped build those relationships, but also that competition. And Tommy's responded in just such a great way, and excited to see him go out there on Saturday and be able to lead his team and this group of young men that are surrounding him.
One of 5 players this century in the ACC to pass for 2,000 yards and rush for 1,000 yards in the same season. That's Tommy Castellanos back in 2023, and he is the highest returning, has the highest returning quarterback rating of any QB in the ACC, coming back this year at 163.4. As we are live at a packed house here at Bowden's in College Town on a Monday night, and it is our inaugural edition here this season of Inside Seminole Football with Mike Norvell, presented by Bowden's, a proud partner of Florida State Athletics. And we'll be here every Monday night during the football season, live in College Town from 7 to 8 p.m. Well, the Chiefs, they are indoors now. Look out, get ready, everybody. They have surrounded you here inside the restaurant and the bar here inside of Bowden's in College Town. They're going to play us to break. Kyle, let's do it. Let's fire up the war chant, big guy, and take us into our first break right now. Great job. Thanks to the Chiefs. And we'll be right back after this timeout. Getting it started, Dr. David Black, Devin Moore, the entire group. Thanks again, everyone, for making time. They just got here out of the sun doing 3 days, as Coach talked about, and we appreciate their time here this evening. All right, Coach, let's talk about your defense a little bit. And one guy we wanted to start out with is one of those newcomers that did not arrive until after spring ball had been completed, but he came in and has made an impact with your football team in your secondary immediately, and that's cornerback Jerry Wilson. This is a guy I could sit and listen to him talk about football all day long, and I know he's really captured your football team in a lot of ways.
Well, he would talk with you all day long. I mean, he is just a ball of energy, and Jerry just a wonderful fit for our team. He's come in, a tremendous mindset. A Florida native, obviously grew up loving Florida State, and now now he's put himself in a position to come be an impactful player for this team. And what I love about him is just his approach, whether it's in the meeting room, whether it's out there on the practice field. We talk about that competitive edge. He brings it on a daily basis. He's got great ball skills. Last year, had multiple interceptions. A guy that can really change the game, and kicking off the season against probably one of the biggest challenges we're going to have in a receiving core. I mean, these are the games you want to play in, and Jerry has really done a nice job of earning the respect of his teammates. I think he's a guy that I view as a big time leader within our football team. And sometimes duration within a program does not have to establish or place you in a leadership role. It's your willingness to go act to become a leader. And from the very first day he got here, he had that passion and he had that urgency. And his teammates feel how much he cares about them and the opportunity that's in front of us. I think that's really helped him ascend in a very short period of time.
We're going to talk to Deuce Robinson a little bit later tonight. He said he's tried to get to the facility to be the first one there, but Jerry always beats him. He thinks Jerry's the one that sleeps inside the facility every day to beat everyone for practice and workouts.
Well, when you see that type of investment, it's you're trying to, where can you create your edge? Everybody in the country, like I said earlier, everybody's talking about wanting to win, but who's really taking the steps to make sure they're preparing their minds, their bodies, their spirit, their soul, all of it. It takes every bit of you to go out there to be your best. And there's a lot of players out there that are okay being good. I want to be around the guys that are desperate to be great and being willing to make that a commitment for their daily process and those habits. And Jerry's somebody that he starts his day with one focus. It's to go get better.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of guys, and Deuce is another guy that when you have that, you start building that competitiveness of, what can I do to make sure that I'm keeping that edge against whoever it is that might show up across from me, whether it's a teammate, whether it's an opponent. I want to be the best, so I'm going to go do all that I can.
Yeah, Deuce Robinson a little bit later on tonight in the show. Also, we'll hear from special teams coordinator and linebackers coach John Papuchis at the end of the show here tonight. Some exciting things there with those two position groups that Coach JP will discuss a little bit this evening. Speaking of excitement, I know you're fired up about the opportunity that Darrell Jackson Jr. has to establish himself as one of the elite defensive linemen in all of college football. And, Coach, he's going to get his chance against a very, very talented and physical Alabama offensive line on Saturday.
Yeah, and Darrell coming back, is a great assignee that we had. A guy that, going through the draft process, and, he got some good reviews, and, people saw his growth a year ago, and, probably would have been our top draftee if he would have declared, this last year. But, he wanted more, and he knew that he saw that ascension and that growth that he had towards the back part of the season, but he also knew that he had so much more to give, and such a great position that he's put himself in, and his desire for Florida State, to make his impact, to be one of those leaders, to make sure that he's leaving Florida State better than what he found it. And I think Darrell has done a remarkable job. He comes to work and is one of those guys that you can point to. He's got a big voice, but he really doesn't have to use it that much because his actions are speaking so loudly. And I'm proud of him for the work that I've seen him of what he's contributed throughout this entire off-season program all the way back to January.
6'6", 300, and nearly 40 pounds, and the guy can run like a linebacker. And so what a fun matchup to watch Saturday along the line of scrimmage with Darrell Jackson Jr., the entire front for Florida State and Alabama's offensive line. And Seminole football brought to you in part by Florida Farm Bureau Insurance, a proud partner of Florida State Athletics. And a new sponsor alert for everyone. We're very proud, very excited as you see the background behind us. Joined here this season, Wolfson's Children's Hospital. Odds are beaten here. Wolfson Children's, always here, the official children's hospital of Florida State Athletics and the title sponsor of the Seminole Sports Network here in this season of 2025 and 2026. Coming up on Inside Seminole Football live from Bowdoin College Town, we got some new wide receivers and some offensive stars to talk about that Tommy Castellanos will be throwing the football to here this season. That and more on the way when we return. We'll be back right after this timeout. And a big round of applause as we're welcomed back into Bowditch in College Town. Caroline, Madison, Kylie, and Naomi with our Florida State cheer squads. We appreciate their time as they get us fired up to get back into the show here on Monday night. As our program brought to you in part by 4 Points by Sheridan, downtown here in Tallahassee. Experience comfort and convenience in the heart of the city at 4 Points by Sheridan, Tallahassee downtown. With stunning floor-to-ceiling windows, our rooms offer some of the best views in Tallahassee. Sleep comfortably and cheer proudly at 4 Points by Sheridan. Back here with the head coach, Mike Norvell. First show of the year. Game week is here. Alabama, the opponent. And, Coach, I know you are excited about your new group of pass catchers that you have into the program here this season. As we talked about, these guys have been around since January, December, some of them. But Deuce Robinson, Squirrel White, Javen Boggs, and Gavin Blackwell are all names in your wide receiver room that bring a high level of skill, athleticism, and all are different body guys who do some really nice things for you in the passing game.
No, they are, and I think the versatility of that group is something I'm excited. Obviously with Deuce, I mean, you got great size, speed. A guy that's a tremendous playmaker. Squirrel, I think, is one of the fastest players in all of college football. Can really be a dynamic weapon for us. Javen is a young newcomer that really has done an outstanding job through his transition. Great playmaker. Has done a wonderful job of making contested catches. Really good route runner, can create separation. You talked about Gavin. We got guys like Makai Dancy, who's really emerging. Lawayne McCoy, somebody that we're excited about. B.J. Gibson. We got a great group of young receivers that have been investing time. Elijah Moore, somebody that we're counting on to continue to take positive steps. So I really like that group and the talent and ability that we have, and some guys that have already proven it. On a big stage with opportunities, and you're excited to have them as Florida State Seminoles.
Squirrel White's a guy, Coach, with 131 catches during his time at Tennessee. That's seventh most in volunteer football history. I mean, the sky's the limit, it feels like, for this young man as he ingrains himself into your program.
No, absolutely, and he's hit the ground running. Figuratively, literally and figuratively. I mean, he is really just he brings such speed. Last year he dealt with some injuries, and so he had to come in and finish a little bit of his rehab process. And as he was able to get that completed, you immediately felt his presence when he stepped on the field. And he's got he's built great relationships. A very smart football player. Allows you to kind of line him up all over the place, and just excited about the dynamic he's going to bring to this offense. And when you have guys that can change the scoreboard every time they touch the ball, I mean, it's a good thing for FSU. And so he's definitely a wonderful addition to our receiver room.
Let's get into our keys to success, brought to you by Scott & Wallace, the official injury lawyers of Florida State Athletics. Scott & Wallace with offices in Tallahassee. As Alabama, the opponent, what a great opportunity, a game that we've all been talking about and looking forward to certainly for quite some time. You guys have been working, gearing up, installing, and now it's here. It's game week, and we're just a few days away overall. Take me into your mindset about this matchup and the opportunity on Saturday afternoon.
No, I mean, this is a game. It's going to come down to speed, physicality. It was one of the things that we've talked about. As a football team, you better be ready to hit, and we want to be the aggressor in that. And it's all three phases: offense, defense, special teams. Whether you're playing in the trenches, whether you're playing out there on the perimeter, it's about a mindset of all things going to approach. Early in the season, I mean, it's going to be the little things. It's going to be the details. Making sure that we're understanding their situations, that we're protecting the football, working to try to create takeaways. Special teams have to be big. It's I know you'll get a chance to talk with JP here later. That's we've done a great job over the years of really establishing a wonderful foundation for the impact that unit can have within our football team, and I think our guys have bought into that. Even the newcomers that have joined in, so a lot of excitement about it. And then you got to go and you got to play this game, and you got to pour everything you have on the field, and you got to be ready to respond. They're going to make their plays too, and there's going to be great plays. There's going to be plays that where you're going to have to get up and you're going to have to go make the adjustment and pour everything you have into the next one. And so watching that response throughout the course of the game is something that I'm really excited about because of the just the mental makeup of what I've seen from this team, and watching them compete.
Coming up, our great moment in Florida State football history goes back to a Florida State and Alabama matchup in 2007, and we'll get Coach's final thoughts before he heads out here tonight on a Monday evening. Live from Bowdens in College Town, having some fun, kicking off the 2025 season. We're back after this timeout. All right, welcome back. As we're rolling along on Monday night, our first edition of Inside Seminole Football with the head coach Mike Norvell. Coming up in a little bit, Florida State wide receiver Deuce Robinson will stop by the show, and special teams coordinator and linebackers coach John Papuchis is on the program. Hey, let's get into our great moment in Florida State football history presented by Bowdens in College Town. Let's go back to 2007, Jacksonville, Florida. Bobby Bowden, Nick Saban on the sidelines, 85,413, the largest crowd to ever watch a football game in Jacksonville on a very windy day. They saw Florida State shut down Alabama, beating the Crimson Tide 21-14, as the FSU defense carried a shutout into the fourth quarter, and we saw a couple of touchdown passes from Xavier Lee. He came off the bench and found Dakota Fagg for 2 scores from 7, and right here from 70 yards out in the fourth quarter to give the Noles a 14-point advantage. How about that meeting at midfield right there between Bobby Bowden and Nick Saban? Our great moment in Florida State football history, 85,412. As Bowden's, of course, the home of Inside Seminole Football with Mike Norvell each and every Monday night during the football season, 7 to 8 p.m. Coach, I say those two names, Bobby Bowden, Nick Saban. What are those two names, those two coaches, what have they meant to college football through the years and the decades in your mind?
Well, I mean, obviously two legends in coaching, and Coach Bowden for everything that he did and meant to college football. It wasn't just on the field, and you see that with all the wins and all the records, the national championships. I mean, but the man and the impact to the profession of coaching, of what it looks like, of somebody that lived with impeccable character. You wanted to make an impact and see guys go and grow and aspire to be all that they could become, and just to do it with the consistency and the longevity of his career was just so very special, and he was an inspiration for all coaches. The legacy that he was able to leave, and it's still carried on through all of his past players, through his past coaches, and it will be celebrated in college football history forever.
Yeah. I like to ask you this question before every first game of the season, but as you're standing in the tunnel behind the north end zone, the Chiefs, the marching Chiefs, are playing the war chant. Our emblem, our banner is in front of us for you to lead our team out with Osceola and Renegade right in front of you. And this year, in front of a newly renovated Doak Campbell Stadium at full capacity here in 2025, what's going to be going through your body at that point?
It is. It's already going. There's so much excitement for it, and just to see the work that's gone in, and let me tell you, for all the Florida State fans that are going to be there on Saturday, you're in for a treat. I mean, this is what they've done at the stadium is really special, and the renovations, obviously the different experiences. I think Michael Alford has done an outstanding job, and there are from all of our administration, all the boosters that help make that a reality. I mean, it's going to be a one of the special experiences in all of college football. And there's no better place to be able to play a college football game than at Doak Campbell Stadium, and to do it in front of a sold-out crowd against a top 10 team in the country. I mean, it's going to be every bit of energy, excitement to kick off the 2025 season, and I'm really looking forward to seeing our team go out there and you're watching them show the country what this group is all about.
Yep, Coach, we can't wait. We're fired up. Great to see you as always, and thanks for your time tonight.
Well, appreciate everybody coming out tonight. We're excited for 2025. It's going to be a great year, and go Noles.
That's the head coach, Mike Norvell, everyone, live at Bowdens in College Town. He's here with us every Monday night during the season on Inside Seminole Football. Hey, when you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more, you're unstoppable, so start feeling like it today. Visit Truist.com/care. Truist, leaders in banking, unwavering in care. Truist Bank, member FDIC. Coming up, Florida State wide receiver Deuce Robinson joins us here on the main stage. When we come back, we're back after this timeout. Oh, baby, we're having some fun on Monday night. The inaugural edition here in 2025 of Inside Seminole Football with the head coach, Mike Norvell. We appreciate his time very, very much. And we'll hear from the guy to my left, momentarily. But it's time now for our Garnet and Gold Gear of the Week. And presented by Garnet and Gold, this week's featured item is a Nike Victory Stripe Polo, the official on-field polo for the season. You can see it right there on the live stream. Garnet and Gold has been locally owned and operated for over 40 years. Visit one of the 3 locations here in Tallahassee and pick up your new game day gear. This is our Florida State Student Athlete segment presented by Seminole Boosters. Let's give it up, everybody, for Deuce Robinson in the house. Let's go, big guy. Great to have you.
It's great to be here.
Thanks so much for your time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
What's this week like as a player? All the work you put in, and now I guess that light at the end of the tunnel to go out there and play a game.
Absolutely. It's I feel like a lot of times, you know, when we're in the off season and you can't really see the end, it's hard to remember why you're doing everything. But you're doing it for weeks like this, right? You're doing it to be able to build up the excitement and just get ready and know that all the work you've done has prepared you to go out there on Saturday and just play, right? Because Coach Norvell talks a lot about, like, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall back on the level of your training. Yeah. And so we've put in countless hours of training, just been grinding all off season. And so when we go out there on Saturday, I think it's just going to be a time for us to be able to go out there and really shine.
Yeah. You've had an interesting journey to come back home in a lot of ways to Florida State, to Tallahassee. Kind of take us through your path. Walk us through where you've been, where your family's been. You're a guy that played some great baseball as well. You're a heck of a baseball player. Started out at USC collegiately. Take us through that path to get yourself back to Florida State, Deuce.
Yes, sir. I grew up a Florida State fan, a diehard Florida State fan. I came from a split household. My dad was a Seminole. My mom was a swimmer at the University of Florida. Yeah. But me and all my brothers always leaned towards Florida State. My dad made sure of that from a very young age. And so grew up, you know, diehard Florida State fans. I idolized Florida State players. And coming out of high school, me and my family just decided that it would be the best decision for me to go to USC. Yeah. You know, being a West Coast kid and a bunch of factors just led to me spending time at USC, and I really appreciate USC for what it gave me. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed my first 2 years, but just felt like ultimately, you know, it's time to make a new decision and create a new path, and got on the phone with Coach Norvell, and I could really just feel his passion and his energy and his love of what he does, and he showed me the vision that he had for both the team and for me, and I mean I'm so happy to be here now.
Yeah, we are happy to have you. That is for darn sure. No question about that. This offense, as it's come together, working with Tommy, growing that quarterback-receiver relationship, putting in that time behind the scenes and obviously during practice as well. Let folks know what that work has been like and how you guys have been able to come together and work together as a unit in the passing game so far.
Yeah, I think Tommy is a great leader. He's obviously a fantastic athlete. He can do it all. I mean, he's a guy who he'll make throws that just make you hold your hands over your head like, man, how does he do this, right? Like, incredible throws. And then obviously everyone knows how dangerous of a runner he is too. Sure. So just his ability to create plays, and then, you know, just being able to work with him in the offseason, find that rhythm, find that timing, figure out what each of us is really good at, and also challenge each other in areas that we need to grow. Yeah. And I think, you know, he's really taking control of this offense, and we have some just uberly talented players on this offense, you know, and other receivers and our running backs on our offensive line. I think being able to work together, I think we have a chance to do something really, really cool.
You mentioned his ability to move around. As a receiver, when you get into that scramble drill, what is that opportunity like, knowing, okay, maybe the defense has done everything right for the first 4 or 5 seconds, but it has to create, I would think, some big play opportunity for you on the back end when he starts to cut it loose and elude the pocket to a certain degree.
Yeah, some of the biggest plays in football are off scramble drills. And I think, honestly, it's really difficult for a defense to overcome that, right? Yeah. When you can play perfect defense for an entire play and yet still have a huge gain for the offense. Like
Yeah.
that's a little bit demoralizing, right? And
Yeah.
so if we can take that and use that to our advantage, I think we could be a really, really good offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking with Deuce Robinson here, live from Bowdenton College Town, Florida State, wide receiver. Alabama, the opponent, and certainly a defense that you have a lot of respect for, a lot of talented guys in the back end. What a matchup with you, Squirrel, Javen, Mackay, your entire receiving core against their secondary with what they bring to the table. I know it's about you and what you guys do overall, but just speak to that competition and the challenge, the back and forth in this game on Saturday. What are you most looking forward to in this contest?
Yeah, I mean, Bama's known for his defense, right? I think what those guys do, the talent that they have is incredible. It's crazy. Damani Jackson, one of their corners, I was at USC with him
That's
my
right.
freshman year.
Yeah.
And so we were facing each other every single day. And so it's going to be really cool being able to play him again. And then I'm just excited because I feel like, we have one of the best defenses in the country too.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we've been sharpening iron with each other all off season. And so then being able to go out and execute it against a different team who is just as talented, but it's not going to be us on opposite sidelines.
Yeah.
We're all going to be together on the same sideline and be able to do it against a different team, which will be really, really fun.
Deuce, what is a non-football item people may not know about you? Do you have a favorite thing to do outside of football? I know football is your life right now, but when you're not doing football, what's Deuce Robinson doing? What are you thinking about?
I'm a big movie watcher.
Okay.
Big movie
Favorite?
watcher.
You got a favorite movie?
The Star Wars franchise.
Star Wars,
all
all
time,
right. There
all
we
time
go.
Star Wars fan. From the time I was 2 years old.
All right.
I've loved Star Wars. But any sort of superhero movie,
Yeah.
big action movie guys. So I'm rewatching the Iron Man franchise
go.
for probably the 20th time right now. So I'm a big movie watcher.
Well, we hope at 6'6" we're going to see you be a Skywalker yourself here all season long and on Saturday.
Yes,
Tell you
sir.
what, great job, my friend. It's always
Thank
great
you.
talking to you.
Yes, sir,
And I look
absolutely.
forward to watching you play Saturday and all season long.
It means a lot.
There you
Thank
go. That's Deuce Robinson, ladies and gentlemen. Man, he's going to make some big plays in the Garden Gold here this season as our conversations with our student athletes brought to you by Seminole Boosters. Did you know that FSU Athletics is self-supported? It's not funded by tax dollars. Because of this, we rely on fans just like you to join Seminole Boosters so your teams have the best possible chance to achieve success on and off the field. Seminole Booster membership starts at $5 per month and comes with great membership benefits. Go online to SeminoleBoosters.com to learn more or join. That's SeminoleBoosters.com. A big thank you over here to our folks from Seminole Boosters. To my right, Mark Cameron, Kaylee Smith, Stephen Cardamone. They are here tonight if you'd like to talk to them about all things Seminole Boosters. Tickets still available for some of our home games this season as well, so make sure to chat with those folks. We appreciate Mark, Kaylee, and Stephen hanging out with us here tonight. Coming up, live from Bowdenton College Town, John Papuchis will stop by the show. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this timeout. All right, again, big thank you to Caroline, Madison, Kylie, and Naomi here with us from the Florida State Spirit Squad tonight. We appreciate these four ladies joining us and getting everybody excited and fired up here on game week for all things Florida State football. As Inside Seminole Football brought to you in part by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles, here to remind you that if alcohol is in the mix, driving isn't. Plan ahead. Designated driver, grab a ride share, or stay put. Winning starts with smart choices. Drive sober, arrive alive. Go Noles. And by Grassroots Coffee, as Florida State Athletics would like to thank Grassroots Coffee for their support of Florida State football. Every time you buy Grassroots Coffee's End Zone Blend, a portion of each sale goes directly to FSU's football program. Order the coffee that supports our Noles by scanning the QR code or at grassrootscoffee.com. You see the QR code right there on the screen. Grassroots Coffee, made for everyone, loved everywhere. Shout out Mark Lowe. Here with us. How about this? Little End Zone Blend for everyone. And again, go pick this up. A portion of each sale goes directly to Florida State's football program. Nutty and chocolate notes with a nice finish. Right there,
Need some of
JP,
that,
huh?
yeah.
Here you go. This is going to John Papuchis right there. I like it. Give it up for John Papuchis, everybody, our special teams coordinator and linebackers coach. It's great to see you, my friend. What's this week like for you as you have been coaching college football now for over 20 years? It's year number 6 here at Florida State University. The juices are always flowing, but it goes to another level, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's no question. You know, all the work that leads into what we're about to do this week started in January. And the players, the coaches, everybody involved has really invested a lot of time, energy, effort, blood, sweat into what this season's going to be. And now it's here, and it's our opportunity to go put it on display.
Let's talk about your special teams groups, and you replace 2 great ones that were here for a long time, and Ryan Fitzgerald and Alex Mastromano. And you've got some guys that have had great competition during fall camp. Let's start with your place kicker. You found one from Pompano Beach. He's a young guy, but man, you've really found a young man in Jake Weinberg, coach, who's a redshirt freshman, that the future is extremely bright for people that are going to see Jake kick. And he did kick a year ago late in the season, but now he's the guy. How would you describe Jake Weinberg to everybody out there that'll see him Saturday?
You know, Jake is a special talent. He really is. You know, he has all the physical, but also the mental and emotional attributes that you'd want in a kicker. You know, when we saw him, you know, we knew we had Ryan on the roster for one more year, but we knew we couldn't pass the opportunity up to go get him at the time that we did. And I'm so grateful that we did at that time because, you know, I think he's poised to have a tremendous career here at Florida State. But he also had the opportunity to learn from a guy that today made an NFL roster. So
how about that?
Exciting for Ryan on that.
Congratulations to Ryan Fitzgerald. Outstanding stuff. Man, I love Fitzy. He's one of the best, the guy that persevered and got better, kept fighting, got better, worked with you guys, and worked his tail off, to say the least. You mentioned last weekend or a couple of weekends ago in a scrimmage, Jake, you let it rip from 62 and 58 yards in a scrimmage, and he knocked him through the pipes for you with that distance.
Easy, you know,
Wow.
which was kind of we wanted to really extend his distance and see how far we could push him. Just so when we get into an end of half or end of game scenario, we knew exactly what we could, you know, how far we could take it back. And, you know, we thought 63 would be a good test for him. And you know, he nice and smooth and easy, you know. So, you know, I'm not saying that we're going to go out there on Saturday and necessarily try one that far, but we know he has the ability to do it.
Wow, that's impressive stuff. And in this era of college football, it's not often it happens, but it's not often where a guy waits his turn. That's what Max Cimento has done. He's waited his turn. He's bided his time behind Mastro, and now he's going to get his shot as the punter. How proud are you of him, and what kind of a camp did Mac have for you here at the punter spot?
Well, Mac is a tremendous example of sticking with something, persevering through a couple of years where he knew he was going to be in that backup role. But the thing that he used during those couple of years, he got better every year. So now he's really prepared for the moment and for his opportunity. And he's had a tremendous camp. And you know, I think he's poised to have a tremendous season. I think he's a big-time talent. I think, you know, I have total respect for Alex and Ryan and what they were able to do, but I think that the 2 guys that we have coming in are going to do a great job.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. The old Seabreeze Sand Crab. Max Cimento will be the punter for the Noles here this season. We've got one more segment. Stay with us. John Papuchis will talk linebackers. I've got a question about the return game for him as well. One more segment to go. Having some fun on Monday night, live from Balance in College Town. We are back after this timeout. And one final segment. We've had some fun here on Monday night, have we not? The Marching Chiefs to welcome us in. That's going to be an annual event, by the way, Dr. David Plack told me before he walked out. So for every first show, each and every time, the Chiefs will be here to open up the season. Fantastic stuff. John Papuchis here with us right now as Inside Seminole Football brought to you in part by Carver's Discount Cleaners. They are mean on stains and green on earth. Try new Eco Green Dry Cleaning at Carver's Discount Cleaners, 1215 North Monroe Street in Midtown. And are you tired of sleeping hot? Make your existing mattress cooler with a Chili Pad. Chili Pad circulates chilled water as low as 55 degrees to keep you cool all night. Visit sleep.me/Seminoles and see why Chili Pad is the official bed cooling partner of Florida State Athletics. JP, we're talking special teams. I wanted you to talk about our return guys. And I know you've been working out a lot of different options there, but shoot, Jalen Lucas is a young man who you guys brought here to really fit a lot of categories, but certainly to help you in the return game as well. It was sad that he got banged up and was done for the year after 2 games a season ago. But that's an All-American kick returner from his time at Indiana, and he's got a chance to be a big-time playmaker for you, it feels like, in that category.
There's no question. We need to find as many ways and opportunities to get the ball in his hands. And if we can get the ball in his hands on special teams units 3, 4, 5 times a game, that it's going to make a big difference over the course of the season. And he's so dynamic, and I think our guys understand that, we got to give him some time and some space, but when that happens, he's going to be able to make some big plays.
And you have Sam Singleton Jr. back there, the only one of the only freshmen a year, or the only freshman a year go to return a kick for a touchdown. And the return game, with your watch as special teams coordinator, you're one of 2 schools over the last 3 years to have a kickoff return for a score. What's been the key, the attention to detail you feel like in that category for that unit?
I think success sometimes breeds success on those units, and the guys start believing and buying into everything that you're doing from a schematic week-to-week preparation or from the fundamental standpoint. And it just kind of it creates an energy in itself that guys know every time we take the field we have an opportunity to make a play on those units, and that enthusiasm can be contagious.
Let's talk about your linebacker core as well, as in this 3-3-5 defense. It's a little unique. You can move guys up to the edge. Obviously, you're still going to have your traditional guys in the middle, but Elijah Herring's a name you hear a lot about, being a physical player in the middle of this defense for you guys. How has he impacted things overall with the way he plays the game?
I've been so pleased with Elijah since he came in January. With the way he's integrated into the group and really taken the leadership role there. He is a physical player who has a lot of years of experience under his belt, and we needed that. Yeah. We purposely went out and were able to get a couple guys who transferred in that had some significant experience, and I think that was big for the room because we like the room as a whole. Yeah. There were some returning players that I think are really good football players, but they didn't have the same background and experience that Elijah and Steph brought to the table. So as a group, I think we're going to be a really, really strong unit.
Yep. Justin Cryer, Blake Nicholson, Omar Graham, those guys moving forward, how have they matured a little bit in the way they play the game?
They've all worked extremely hard, from January to now, and I thought we had a really good offseason leading into fall camp, and they've kind of just picked up where they left off, and they're growing, they're getting better every day, and like I said, I think it's a deep group, it's a talented group, and one that I think can be a strength of this defense.
Do you have any game day superstitions at all? Getting ready on a game day, or are you just straightforward?
Yeah, I do have a couple superstitions. I always, since being here, I come out the same time out of the tunnel. Kind of position myself in the same area of the field before the players come out. So I am superstitious about some of those routine things, but I try to stay focused on the main thing.
There you go.
I guess.
I hear you. Well, we can't wait for this group to come out and perform. What a great opportunity, and it's always great seeing you, my friend. Thanks so much for seeing you and coming by. There you go. Give it up for JP, John Papuchis. You can take some grassroots coffee home with them, everybody. And what a night here at our first edition of Inside Seminole Football with Mike Norvell. Thanks to everybody coming out. We're going to have some fun. We're back here every Monday night, live from Bowdens in Collegetown. Big thanks to the Marching Chiefs, to our staff at SEMPRO, Florida State Global Partnerships, and to my guy, Chris Culp. I'm Jeff Culhane. Have a great night, everybody, and go Noles.